Okay, this is just a quick geometric demonstration of two concepts for Mike F. Okay, the first thing I want to address, Mike, is the argument that you presented that was made by Robert House about the pictures that he took of the moon and posted on Facebook. Okay, his problem, and your problem as well, is that those pictures, let's zoom in on Jackie Gleason here. Okay, in the first picture, it has a certain orientation. And in the second picture of the moon that he took about 5 hours later, the orientation of the moon relative to the frame of the picture has changed about like that. It seems to have rotated clockwise between the two images. And both you and he seem to think that this somehow proves that the Earth is flat. And I'm still trying to figure out how you think that it proves that. But I'm going to show you why it actually is completely consistent with a spherical Earth rotating on its axis. Okay, now I've borrowed my son's little desk globe here. So let's pretend that we have an observer living, right in the middle of the United States in Bumshart, Nebrahoma. Okay, now let's say that he takes a picture of the moon right after the moon rises in the eastern horizon. Okay, so let's get down here so we can see the moon the way he'd see it. Okay, but what's the problem with the horizon there? Right in the middle of the United States. When you take a picture, how do you hold the camera? You hold it level and upright, right? Okay, so let's rotate it so that the local horizon, where our observer in the middle of the United States is, and imagine he's taking a picture of the moon just after it rose. And let's take note of the orientation of our artificial moon. Now, let's let time pass. Earth rotates on its axis to late in the day, when our observer is now going to see the moon in the western sky. Okay, he's still there in the middle of the United States, but now he looks out at the moon and sees it in the western sky about to set. Okay, well, let's rotate the camera again so it's exactly the way our observer would be holding it, flat and level. Now look at the moon. Yeah, okay, it looks exactly like what we just saw in his two pictures. The moon has appeared to rotate clockwise by almost 90 degrees. So that's perfectly consistent with a spherical Earth, and I'd be interested in seeing how you could explain that according to a flat Earth model. Now, the second thing I want to address is the appearance of the moon in a flat Earth model. Okay, so I've made a little model of the moon right here, and I've put a little X on it and suspended it on the ceiling so that we can see how it's oriented. Now, everybody on the Earth who looks at the moon at the same time sees pretty much exactly the same view of the moon. Alright, if two people are standing as far apart as it's physically possible to get on the Earth and still see the moon simultaneously, they'll only see a change of less than 2 degrees in the rotation, apparent rotation of the moon. Now let's say that the Earth is a big flat disk almost 25,000 miles across, and the moon is just a much, much smaller ball revolving on a plane parallel to the surface of the Earth and just a few thousand miles up. So let's say you're standing directly under the moon looking up at it and you see this. Well, what about someone who's standing about 5,000 miles away? So let's move to the side, keeping the camera at the same height, and let's tilt over to see our ball. What do you see there, Mike? You can see a lot more of the moon that the other observer couldn't see. Look where the X is. It's the same problem if you go back the other way. If the Earth is flat, like in the Zetetic cosmology, then people all over the world should see widely different angles of the moon at the same time. But they don't. You have to come up with some magical explanation where no matter where you are on the Earth, it looks like the moon, the exact same face of the moon is facing you. It just doesn't work. Sorry.